Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is round 1 of the League Challenge that happened at Die Hard Games on July 11th, 2024. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. More info in the description. League Cup, Saturday, July 20th. 11 a.m. Central at Die Hard Games, and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. Pidgey versus Dreepy, I believe. Another Dreepy hits the bench on the right as they start things off for us, attaching a fire energy to that bench Dreepy. And it looks like that is their turn 1. They pass things back over, or pass things over for the first time to our Charizard player. I believe that is their deck here over on the left. Charizard with a Dreepy in it versus Charizard with the Dragapult in it versus Dragapult with the Charizard in it. Something like that. We'll just have to wait and see, I guess. As our mostly Charizard player on the left starts their first turn off with a Buddy Buddy Poffin. That now infamous item card. Maybe it's just famous. Maybe it's not infamous. Anyways, that item card allows the player to search their deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to add to their bench. Straight to the bench comes a Dreepy and a Charmander. So far, so good. Maybe another Charmander would be optimal here. We just have to see what the player has in hand. That's the biggest thing with these Stage 2 decks, is just setting up. You'll hear players say, if I set up, I win. So what do you got to do first? Set up, and the perfect way to start that is Buddy Buddy Poffin. We're debating the energy attachment here. Debating on protecting the active Pidgey or not. It just depends on what's all in hand. If we cannot access another Charizard this turn, maybe we retreat the Pidgey into the Dreepy. Or Charizard, excuse me. If we can't establish another Charmander this turn, we go the route of protecting the Pidgey and the Charmander at least. So our player decides to attach a Psychic Energy to the active Pidgey and play an Iono. Okay, so that's why it was a tough choice, because there are some unknowns after this Iono. What will Iono find? That supporter, of course, has both players shuffle their hands, put the shuffled hand to the bottom of the deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards, both players getting 6 here. So we're looking for more basic Pokemon, basically. Another Charmander, assuming this is primarily a Charizard deck. Excuse me, another Charmander would be nice. Aha, and that's the way we do it as well. That active Pidgey has the Call for Family attack. For a colorless energy, you can search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon to add to the bench. So another Pidgey and another Charmander could be the targets here. I think, no, this is not our player's first deck search, so they're just going to take a good look at the deck one more time and decide what are the 2 best basics to get with this Pidgey's Call for Family. The quick things I can think of are another Pidgey in case the active one gets knocked out, and another Charmander, and that's exactly what they're going to go for. Shiny Pidgey and beautiful art Charmander hit the board as play resumes over on Dragapult's side. Our Dragapult player is going to start things off on this next turn with a Nest Ball. That beautiful League stamped Nest Ball, of course. Come to League, get free League prize packs. As long as you play some Pokemon, right? Anyways, that Nest Ball allows our player to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to add to the bench. There are already 2 Dreepy in play, so it really just depends on what's in the deck, what kind of Dragapult build this is. If it's the more typical ones, we probably will see a Pidgey hit the board. Some kind of support Pokemon, since our attackers are already out, but like I said, it really just depends on what's in the deck and also what decisions our players make. They are the ones with the power here. I'm just chilling in the professor's lab, analyzing some Pokemon cards. Looks like they are deciding on that Pidgey. Final decision, yes, Pidgey is now established. That would have been nice turn 1, but better late than never, right? The next card to be played is an Arven as a supporter for turn. Arven allows you to search your deck for a tool card and an item card. Our player is debating on these 2 targets here, consulting their hand, and final decision is Skateboard and Ultra Ball. Skateboard goes onto the active Dreepy, given its retreat cost -1 colorless, so free retreat basically right now that Dreepy in the active spot has. Next card to be played is an Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball is an item card that has you discard 2 cards from hand in order to search your deck for any Pokemon, basic or evolution. Ultra Ball discards Lost Vacuum and Pidgeot EX to find that Dragapult EX. Rare Candy is already in hand that allows that Dreepy to evolve into that Dragapult EX right now. And the next card to be played is Earthen Vessel. That powerful item has you discard a card in order to search your deck for up to two basic energy cards. Double Psychic being eyed up here and decided upon. So we will see Dragapult take 2 prize cards this turn. I believe the alternate art Charmander that's on the bench does have 60 HP. So that can be knocked out with the effect of Dragapult's attack, which I could tell you guys about right quick. Dragapult EX, 320 HP, has the Phantom Dive attack, that's what it's all about. 200 base damage, and then it says put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. So Phantom Dive, easily KOing the active Pidgey. 5 damage counters go onto the Pidgey on the bench. That's probably the decision I would have made too. Take out the support. 1 more damage counter going on to the Dreepy on the bench on the other side. And there we go. Fancy Charmander put into the active spot, and play resumes over on its side. Even though 2 prize cards were taken, Charizard EX cannot take a KO on the active here. Lost Vacuum is played, sending a Manaphy to the Lost Zone in order to send the opponent's rescue board to the Lost Zone. No more easy pivot for them. Manaphy also pretty much useless in this matchup, as placing damage counters is completely different than doing attack damage. Manaphy's ability only blocks attack damage to the bench, not the placement of damage counters. That's where you'll have to get Jirachi or even Rabisca, or whatever its name is, involved. But for today, we are going to play an Arven over here on Charizard's side. You guys know what that one does. Support a card, search your deck for an item card and a tool. Depends on what's in hands for the target, but looks like we're debating a rare candy and a Defiance Band. We're getting up there with Charizard's attack. Charizard's attack, of course, does 180 damage plus 30 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. Burning Darkness, I believe, is the attack name. Yeah. Alright, next the rare candy is played to evolve the active Charmander straight into Charizard EX. Charizard EX uses its Infernal Rain ability. When it evolves, you can search your deck for up to 3 basic fire energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Only 2 fire energy needed here to power up the 2 fire energy cost Burning Darkness attack that the Charizard has. We're currently doing 240 damage right now. 270 with the Defiance Band. Okay. So just looking to do as much damage as possible to this active, applying as much pressure as they can this turn. Let's see if any other cards will be played here before the attack. Doesn't look like it, so Charizard Burning Darkness for 270 damage as play resumes over on Dragapult's side. Looks like that Buddy Poffin is the first order of business for our Dragapult player here. Charmander and Bidoof are the targets of that Buddy Poffin, I think, unless I missed something. Let me know if I missed anything in the comments there below. But now our Dragapult player is fully establishing their board. Again, would have been a lot nicer last turn, turn 1, but we take what we can. Fully developed board here now. Heavily damaged Dragapult EX in the active spot, but it can take 1 more prize card down with it if it's the attacker this turn, as a Psychic Energy is attached to the bench Dreepy. Defiance Band being attached to the bench Charmander. And Iono is the supporter for turn. Perfect Iono. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards equal to their remaining prize cards. The Iono player gets 4 prize cards here. The opponent gets 6, or gets 4 cards from the top of the deck, excuse me, since they have 4 prize cards remaining. Think it would be nice to see a Dracloak here. So maybe an Ultra Ball is being debated on, being played. Is that 3 cards? Yep. So we're most likely debating an Ultra Ball here. Depends on what's in hand and what you have to get rid of, but definitely establishing a Dracloak here would be powerful. It looks like we're just going for the attack. Phantom Dive, right? 200 damage onto the active Pokemon, and then 6 damage counters can be placed on the opponent's bench Pokemon in any way. So let's see if they go for that Dreepy. Oh no, actually gonna go for the Charmander, putting all 6 damage counters on it, playing the slower game, controlling how many prize cards are taken here, since each prize card taken fuels Charizard EX's attack. Over on Charizard's side, Dracloak is evolved onto the bench there, narrowly avoiding the KO that Dreepy and now Dracloak did. Dracloak, of course, has that returning ability, Recon Directive, Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Put the other card at the bottom of your deck. So, very good ability there to keep churning through the deck. More Charmander definitely need to come down this turn, or at least the heavily damaged Charmander should evolve this turn. It looks like we might be working towards that with an Ultra Ball. Discarding an Ultra Ball, another Golden Ultra Ball, let's say, and that beautiful League exclusive TM Evolution to search the deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution. If there's a rare candy in hand, we can go straight for that Charizard EX, but there is not. Okay. So instead, we're going to go for the Charmeleon, who also has a relevant ability here. Don't you just love how all these things are interconnected and stack up to immersive gameplay in the Pokemon trading card game? I know I do. Alright, that Charmander is, or Charmeleon, excuse me, is found and pulled out of the deck. Evolved onto the bench there. Next is that Recon Directive, taking a look at the top 2 cards of the deck, adding one to the hand and the other to the bottom of the deck. Meanwhile, I'm trying to look up that Charmeleon ability. I'm pretty sure it blocks effects of attack, so that includes placing damage counters as well. So we'll go with that as the active Charizard EX KOs. Finishes up the KO on the active Dragapult EX, taking 2 prize cards. Dreepy moves into the active spot. Play resumes over on its side as a fire energy is now attached to it. Now we just need to see rare candy Dragapult EX, right? Let's see what our Dragapult player can put together. Okay, there is an Arven in hand. Just depends on what else is in hand here too. For this turn to be a success, Arven will finally be played. Remember, that card has you search your deck for a item card and a tool card. Forest Seal Stone and Rare Candy are found here. There are no Pokemon V in play currently, so maybe the stone will be discard fodder for the Ultra Ball. Yes, Ultra Ball is played, discarding the stone in a boss's orders. I was going to say that can find the Dragapult EX, but our player is actually choosing the route of establishing their board further, more or less aggressive. The aggressive play would have been to just take the KO on the active, put some damage counters on the bench to cloak and move on, but would that allow the Charizard to return KO? Either way, next is, the Ultra Ball found the Bibarel. Bibarel evolved on the bench and uses Industrious Incisor's ability to draw up to 5 cards in hand. Luckily, a second Ultra Ball was found and is going to be played now, discarding a Rotom V and a Psychic Energy to search the deck for, most likely, that Dragapult EX. We know the rare candy is already in hand, so we know we will see an attack for 2 prize cards this turn. So yeah, this is all coming back to that turn where our Dragapult player decided to spread some damage with their attack on the bench versus taking the KO on the Dreepy. Now, yeah, no KOs can be taken on the bench. Not sure if that was incorrect or not, but just something to note, something to research here in the professor's lab. Ultra Ball is being resolved right now. We're debating on this target. I think we are finalizing it here now. You do have to reveal what you took with the Ultra Ball, but it was actually that Pidgeot EX. Okay. Rare Candy evolved that Pidgey into Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX has the Quick Search ability that allows our player to search their deck once per turn for any card. And it looks like that card was Super Rod. This one you do not have to reveal since you could pick any card, but it looks like they're going for the Super Rod. Maybe missing the attack this turn. Ooh, no, I'm not sure if I like this route, but I'm a more aggressive player, so I usually tend to choose those routes, and this is definitely not it. Okay. Maybe our player thinks the opponent has such a massive hand, they definitely will have the Charizard next turn and can return KO, and then I've got nothing, or at least I'm forced to build a Charizard, but I like those odds and the pressure of making your opponent have it. Anyways, the Super Rod is played here, shuffling back some resources from the discard into the deck. I think it was a Dragapult EX and a couple of basic energy. The Dreepy retreated to the bench into the Pidgeot EX that has more HP. Let's see, the Charizard EX in the act is not taking a KO currently on the Pidgeot EX. Play resumes over on Charizard's side as that Dragapult EX evolves on the bench, giving it way more HP and now is a more threatening attacker. Fire energy manually attached to that Dragapult EX. And I think we are just swinging into that Pidgeot EX. 240 damage, I believe, being done to that Pidgeot EX. The pressure is being put on as play resumes over on Dragapult's side on the right. We've got a Dragapult in play on the left too, so I'll try my best to keep things clear here during this warm-up recording. Alright, first our player on the right is going to use Bibarel's Industrious Incisors to draw up to 5 cards in hand, and then decide what to do after they have those options in hand. There is a quick search available to find any card from deck. Looks like an Ace-Spec tool, or energy, excuse me, is being attached. Neo Upper Energy to that bench. Charmander. Buddy Buddy Poffin is played next to search the deck for a Dreepy to add to the bench. Now that Neo Upper Energy functions as basically a double rainbow energy on stage 2 Pokemon, I believe. So that will fulfill the cost of Charizard EX's Burning Darkness attack. Next is an Iono. That would have been nice last turn too with the Dragapult KO. Anyways, we're going for it this turn. Iono, both players shuffle their hand, put that at the bottom of their deck, and then draw from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. 3 and 4 here. As an Ultra Ball will be played next, discarding a Dreepy and an Arven. If there's Rare Candy in hand, or I guess Pidgeot can find the remaining piece as needed. So maybe we're going for Charizard EX here. Yep. Ultra Ball finds Charizard EX. Pidgeot uses its quick search ability to search the deck for a card. Most likely that card is going to be Rare Candy. if it's not already in hand. Alright, all the pieces are there now. Rare candy. Evolve that Charmander onto the bench straight into the Charizard EX. Charizard EX, accelerate from the deck a single fire energy with its Infernal Rain ability onto that Dreepy on the bench. The Charizard EX with the Defiance Band and the Neo Upper Energy attached moves to the active spot thanks to Pidgeot's EX's free retreat cost and takes the KO on the opposing Charizard EX, going down the 2 prize cards. Play resumes over on the left here as a Super Rod is played first. That item has you shuffle back into your deck from the discard up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon cards and basic energy cards. Double Fire and Charizard EX, it looked like, was going to go back into the deck. Next, an Ultra Ball is played, discarding a Counter Catcher and Pow Pad to pull that Charizard EX right back out of the deck. It evolves onto the bench, accelerating a couple of fire energy onto itself from the deck thanks to its ability, Infernal Rain. It is powered up and ready to go. Let's see how much damage it's doing. 310 damage it's doing currently with its Burning Darkness attack since the opponent has taken 4 prize cards. Or is it just 300? 3xx damage that Charizard EX is doing currently. Followed by an Iono. You guys know what that one does by now. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. Player on the left gets 3 cards off of the Iono. Player on the right gets 2. 0 support Pokemon in play for our player on the left, but 2 pretty big, powerful attackers in play, so what more do you need, I guess? As a Buddy Buddy Poffin is played now, potentially to establish some baby support Pokemon, or more so just to take a peek through the deck and inventory it. Okay. 0 targets found off of this league exclusive Buddy Buddy Poffin. What else does our player on the left need to do in order to gain an edge in this matchup, round 1 of the league challenge? They are behind on prize cards, so counter cards like Counter Catcher and Defiance Band are online if the player has access to them. I know, just going to swing for 70 with Dragapult's EX first attack, Jet Headbutt. Okay. Play resumes over on the right here. Charizard EX is not taking the KO on the opposing Dragapult. So Buddy Buddy Poffin will be played first to see if there's any desired targets in deck. We can establish some things on the board and thin the deck out, leaving all the good stuff in the deck and our Pokemon out on the field where we want them. As another Pidgey is found here. There is a heavily damaged Pidgeot EX in play, so this is definitely relevant, but most importantly, it thins that card out of the deck that we don't want in there. Yeah, 270 that Charizard EX is doing currently, not enough to take the KO on the opposing Dragapult EX with 10 damage in the active spot. Next is Bibarel's Industrious Incisors, drawing up to 5 cards in hand. A Hisuian Heavy Ball is found. That's played to take a look at the prize cards. No basic Pokemon chosen from the prize cards here, so the Hisuian Heavy Ball just goes to the discard pile. But with the shake of the prize cards when looking at them there, I could tell that something good was prized. Maybe a Dragapult EX. I think the players will show their prize cards at the end here, so we might be able to analyze it a bit further a little bit later. Either way, our player on the right is using Pidgeot EX's quick search ability here to search the deck for a card. Maybe a Dracloak would be good here to give that Dreepy on the bench more HP, as well as the ability Recon Directive to use. I guess the more HP doesn't matter, as anything over on the opponent's side could take the KO on a Dracloak. So we're really just establishing the board a little further and gaining access to that ability to draw more cards. We'll see soon enough what our player has chosen here. Pretty intense round one we had to open things up. Yep, the Dracloak found off of that quick search and evolved on the bench. Recon Directive is next on that Dracloak to look at the top 2 from the deck, send 1 card to the bottom, and keep the other in the hand. Looks like a pretty straightforward choice there. I didn't see what it was, but finally just going to swing into the opposing Pokemon. 270 damage, I believe, bringing that Dragapult EX up to 280 damage. Not too bad here, as if that Dragapult tries to retreat to the bench like it's doing now. A Dracloak of your own can be used to finish it off on the bench. Unless the last 2 prize cards are Dracloak. Charizard EX will take the KO on the opposing Charizard EX. Going down to 2 prize cards now, I think. Both players at 2 here in this endgame, as the free retreat Pidgeot EX moves into the active spot on the right and play resumes over there. Where is Dragapult EX for the win, right? 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So that Dragapult EX on the bench has 4 HP left. Dragapult EX's Phantom Dive can place 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like, so we just need that card. First, a Nest Ball is played to search the deck for a Radiant Charizard. Okay. That plus Fire Energy plus Boss's Orders would win the game. Next is Pidgeot EX's Quick Search to search the deck for a card. I'm assuming one of the pieces, either the Fire Energy or the Boss's Orders, is not in hand, as both would probably be slammed by now. Recon Directive is next, interesting, after the Quick Search, to look at the top 2 cards, put one at the bottom, the other in hand. There's a Dragapult EX. Okay, is that game then? Okay, let's see here. Aha, the Terra ability. Nope, the Terra ability doesn't block the effects of attacks either. Okay, so to fill in what happened on the board here, we saw the Radiant Charizard come down. We saw a fire energy attached to it, so it's ready to go. Pidgeot free retreated into the Dragapult EX, and now what do we do? The Dragapult and the EX on the bench. The opponent's bench has 4 HP remaining. It is a Terra Pokemon. The Terra ability says as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks. So it blocks attack damage. It does not block the placement of damage counters. So let's see what our players decide to do here. It looks like we're just going for a Phantom Dive. No, not quite yet. Just no attack here. Okay, yes, our player on the right's turn is still going. Okay. Next is Professor Turles for turn. That supporter card lets you just put a Pokemon you have in play back into your hand. So that Pidgeot EX is returned to hand there, taking off all that damage on the board, not giving the opponent access to an easy 2 prizes on their next turn. And I think they just pass things over. Our player on the left is revealing that they have an Arven in hand. But yeah, unless I'm missing something, please let me know if I'm missing anything in the comments. I easily can be. I think our player on the right had the win there with the Phantom Dive, as that would, unless there's not as much damage as I think there is on the bench. No, that must be it. There must not be it. There must have not had that 40 HP remaining on the bench there. So for the sake of this video, we'll say that that was the case. They're able to attack, but not take the KO on the bench. These players they did have time called, and they were on their +3 turns. Let me know if you don't know how that all works in the comments, and I'll try to explain it there. But gotta wrap up this video. Neither player took all their prize cards or fulfilled a win condition in this Swiss round. So this Swiss round ended in a tie. What a great way to start the tournament. What do you think of this video in the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Professor's Lab.